You may have noticed that my background is ever so slightly different, and that's because I've moved my desk a grand total of I'd say about 100 centimeters to the right. So you're seeing more of this curtain. So, I guess that's a thing. But, that's way less important than what's ahead of us. How's it going, guys? And welcome back to the channel. Today, it begins my SPL D-League playoffs. And in the first round of playoffs, we take on D Rey, who is the coach of the San Diego Spirits. D Rey has had an interesting season. He finished up 3-4, with his 3 wins being against coaches that didn't make the playoffs, but there definitely was times where it felt that he had some very competitive games. Also a lot of volatility in regards to his diff, but we'll get to that later. The reason I picked D Rey was simple enough. I didn't want to deal with any rematches, I didn't want to take a teammate, and D Rey is just, one of these guys that I've always thought was really, really nice. I've worked with him a couple of times on some draft projects in the past, and he was always just a really sound guy, and I thought it'd be cool to play. Then I looked at the matchup and realized maybe I shouldn't have done that, because it's a bit tricky and it's required some big calls. If you guys are still enjoying these team builders, hopefully this isn't the last one. This could be the last one. If I lose this week, it's done. So, do let me know if you're enjoying these team builders by leaving a like and commenting and subscribing and all that fun YouTube things. And let's hop into the matchup that I don't think is fun. D Rey's team consists of Garchomp, Slowking Galar, Iron Bundle, Tinkaton, Mandibuzz, Terragaltatel, Rotom Heat, Pterodondozo, Mienshao, Serena, and Satitan. And I think it's pretty clear why this isn't fun. Iron Bundle is terrifying. I do not have many good switch-ins to it. My best bet is probably like a Spadef or AV Jirachi, because I know people try to use AV Aloe, but I don't like the fact that Bundle can sub on that really easily. And then Alluring Voice is doing like 25. Why do people do this? Oh, what have you done? But, yeah, no, this is not a matchup I like. Garchomp with SD loaded dice is quite scary. Tinkaton is just phenomenal because it checks like almost everything. Like Tinkaton plus Mandibuzz plus a Dondozo with like Terra Fairy or Terra Ghost is just really annoying to break here. You combine that as well with the fact that he could go to Snow Mode, because Satitan absolutely solos me unless I have hyper-specific prep, which, spoiler alert, I did initially have and then ditched it. This thing is really scary as well, if I let it belly run for free, which I basically can't allow. And, Scarf Mienshao is still pretty good into me. Serena could be annoying if it gets a well-timed Rapid Spin. And, yeah, overall, I don't exactly know what 6 are going to come here. So I definitely have my work cut out for me. Massive shoutouts to J-Script and Addison for kind of helping me figure this out, because, as soon as I was a little bit in coping mode at times this week. But let's hop into what I brought. We begin with Meowscarada, as we should, and, as we've said, we're rocking yet another Choice Scarf Meowscarada. At least it's only 3 this season. We're rocking a set of Triple Axle, Leaf Storm, U-Turn, and Spikes. Triple Axle is self-explanatory because there's a Mandibuzz and a Garchomp, and this is my way of dealing with a Scale Shot at Garchomp. Leaf Storm is because it's more reliable than Flower Trick and Revenge Killing the Bundle. U-Turn to get on out of there, which I'd say is going to happen a lot. And Spikes because it's a nice click if I'm expecting the Tinkaton to come in. The only annoying thing about this is I need to figure out a lot about the Tinkaton before I can bring this in for the first time. A very common set in the Meowscarada matchup for a Tinkaton is a Jaboka Berry set with Pickpocket. So that's why I was initially considering something like Assault Vest, because that's my best way of crippling the Tinkaton, because I can hit it and then it takes my Assault Vest so it can't actually get a rocks or anything, or click Encore. But I decided I needed Scarf on this thing because Bundle is terrifying. I need something for +1 Garchomp, so Meowscarada fit the bill. If I can get up some Spikes, that would actually be really nice, because chipping down his team is super important, although I do think boost spam is relatively likely. Meowscarada is definitely going to be my cleaner this week, and good god do I need it. The speed is so, if I do lose the Choice Scarf somehow, most likely it would be to the Tinkaton, that I still outspeed a Choice Scarf Gothitzel, so there's no sort of bullshit there. You'll realize a lot of my team is actually quite anti-Goth, so you'll see that as you go. You then get to Alamomola, which, is pretty much max phase def, running a Rocky Helmet to be able to get some extra chip on the Tinkaton, if I can sequence some stuff correctly. And we have a set of Wish, Flip Turn, Icy Wind, and Healing Wish. Fairly self-explanatory, I just need to click Wish in front of some things, Flip Turn around, Icy Wind is there for the Garchomp in case it tries to get tricky, and Healing Wish is just very nice for some of my later members that I will get into a little bit later. Just Fizz Def is possible, need that much Fizz Def. So this is like my switch into a hell of a lot of things. Mandibuzz, Dondozo, Yanshao, could be a bundle switching, I guess, for like pivoting into Hydro Pumps to then pivot elsewhere on like Freeze Dries. That is something I could well see myself having to do. And then obviously Garchomp, because Garchomp's the scariest thing. It's also my only mon that like takes hits from Titan reliably under snow, so I can technically like stall it out, or I can like Icy Wind it down and then hope that something else can kind of deal with it. Yeah, I'm not fancying my chances too much against the Titan, but I also don't think it can come, because I think he's far better mons in the matchup. But if he brings it, I'll figure it out. We then get to Rotom this week, a Terra Steel Rotom, and spoiler alerts, it will be Terraing this week. There is no Spathra here. I'm benching it. I had a few sets that I toyed around with, but in the end I just realized that a Spathra just, in a matchup where you see stuff like Mandibuzz and Tinkaton, as well as an unaware Dondozo, it just is really forced, and you have to get the set perfectly right for anything to work. So I went this route instead. I think J-Scarf was also definitely a big part of kind of this set. This could absolutely massacre. We call it the Mental Herb because we're running a Sub Nasty Plot set here, with a combination of Discharge and Shadow Ball. Sub Nasty Plot absolutely tears him apart, depending on the source of sets that he brings. If Mandibuzz is Foul Play, not Knockoff, I can Terra and Sub in its face. If Slowking does not have Flamethrower, which I feel like it shouldn't, then I can Sub and Terra in its face. Dondozo, I do a lot of damage to and it probably wants to switch out versus me. I can sub up on that. And then obviously I can sub up on Tinkaton because if he tries to Encore me, I just discharge it immediately. And if I get the power, I just sit there and keep spamming attacks because it can't break my sub unless it's Brick Break for some reason. And it's too forced on slots to where it's only attacking me really are going to be a stab and knockoff. Because it needs rocks and that's probably one of Encore T-Wave, maybe both. So yeah, this thing, super good. Can also switch into Garchomp. It is EV with the 160 HP to make sure that I can always take an Iron Bundle Hydro Pump from like non-boosting item. Because I do think Bundle's 100% going to need to be boosted here. He does not want that thing taking rocks as how good a matchup it has versus me. So I think Boots is 100% the bring. So I do live that from full, which is great. And yeah, the bit of speed, that just covers me up to a max speed to Titan, because I thought I might as well, because I'd want to be covering Serena. And then, you know, the rest of the special attack with Modest Nature, just to do as much damage as possible. Rotom is probably my ace in the hole here, and if this goes wrong, then I feel like the whole game plan's going to go wrong. We then get to Landorus, and we're running a Rocky Helmet, very Fizz-Def Landorus. This set actually, it lives 2 non-boosted 4-hit skill shots, and it also lives a SD 4-hit skill shot, like from a +2 gun shot. It's kind of crazy. So we have a set of Stealth Rock, Taunt, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. Simple intentions: get up rocks, stop the Mandibuzz from defogging, and like helmet chip stuff that's trying to like clip U-turns, such as the Mandibuzz. Enough said. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. So yeah, like Landorus here, its main objection, rocks is just super important here, as is in general, because I need to be able to chip things down. I need to find out if the bundle's boots, because then I can play around it accordingly. And even getting chip on stuff like Dozo, if it's nice enough to put boots on that, which he mightn't. He might want to go the helmet route instead. So that would be good. Rotom Heat, I guess, if it comes as well. So Titan, obviously, getting the chip on Slowking would be very nice. This thing doesn't actually die to like uninvested Ice Beam, which is quite good. It means I can taunt to stop stuff like T-Spikes or just an instant shitty reception, which is quite good. So, and then obviously Earthquake plus Rock Slide just covers everything that I needed to. Landorus is probably going to be my lead here. If he leads Bundle, that kind of sucks, but I also don't know how he'd want to treat that scenario, because A is to respect Scarf, and B he has to respect Sash. Both of which I think are extremely plausible for me this week. We then get to Jirachi, and it looks relatively similar to a set that I brought in week 6, but I'm a hell of a lot more Fizz-Def. We're still Weakness Policy, we're still Calm Mind, Storm Power, Flash Cannon, but last move this time we have Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam obviously there to be able to hit the Mandibuzz, as well as my best bet versus the Garchomp if I don't have my Weakness Policy activated. We have an incredibly Fizz-Def set, so the Garchomp doesn't even do like, I think it just about does like 75% to be with EQ. This eats Mandibuzz hits for breakfast. This can do really well against me and Shao. Titan, if it's not belly drum, it eats really well as well. So I can kind of switch this thing in on something like a Dondozo if it's Terra Fairy and I'm expecting Terra Blast. Can Calm Mind as I'm expecting the Mandibuzz to come in. Dazzling Gleam it down, take whatever Dart move wants to throw at me, because I imagine you want to click Darkling rather than like click Whirlwind, because Whirlwind's a really passive click if you're taking 60 from a +1000 thing. Which you do if you're Fizz Def, which I imagine it will be Spadef, just to help deal with like Life or Lando, because that's scary, but you know, I can't rule this out for sure. So yeah, these 3 moves just cover everything that I needed to. The little bit of Spadef means that I still don't get 2-shot by a Boots bundle. I don't get 2-shot by Boots Hydro Pump. The only issue is he could Hydro Pump into Flip Turn or U-Turn. He could go U-Turn for the AV Meow that I mentioned. And yeah, can then just Hydro Pump me down. So yeah, I think this thing is really, really good. Should kind of burst a hole through his team. And hopefully can surprise the Garchomp. That would be wonderful, because the more I stop Garchomp, the better chance I have of winning this game. And finally, we get to Charles, who is back after its fantastic performance in Week 5, where, you know, it went 5-0. And we're running just an offensive set this time. Just as offensive a set as I ran in that game. Except this time we're going Choice Band. And there's a simple reason for it. That's because his normal resist outside of Terra is a Tinkaton. And obviously I need the Tinkaton dead. Or just like really weakened for the sake of the Meowscarada that I mentioned earlier. This is why the Charles is here and not the Espathra. We're running a set of Double Edge, Quick Attack, U-Turn, and Knockoff. Double Edge because that's going to be my click 99% of the time. Quick Attack to pick off a weakened bundle, or also, worst case scenario, if say a Garchomp has clicked Scale Shot 2 or 3 times, I can still pick it off a Banded Quick Attack, which is really good because the -3 Spadef. U-Turn to get on out of there if he does decide to go with a Terra type on Dondozo that beats me, or if there's any sort of Goth Intel bullshit. And lastly, Knockoff, just in case he goes Terra Ghost Dozo, it still gives me a strong move for it. Also can kind of help me get rid of any Tinkaton items, which might be important for later. So yeah, I could have gone Temper Flare on this set, but I decided I'm actually just better off clicking Double Edge in general. So that was kind of the thought process there. The fact that I can run Adamant here because the speed tier is only required up to Mienshao, which I could have potentially gone greedier, because I feel like if Mienshao comes, it's definitely Scarf, because he wants to like click Scarf Axel or Scarf CC. So I still decided to be safe with it, just in case he decides to go like the agility route, which would be quite catastrophic if I play around it incorrectly. So I went nice and safe, especially because I get Adamant out of it anyways, and I don't need this thing to be living any particular hits. The only one is maybe like Ronan Heat, if that decides to come, but I'll be very surprised if Ronan Heat comes. And that is it. That is my team builder for round 1 of playoffs. Let me know what you guys think of the team, and I shall catch you in 24 hours time for the battle. It's still weird for me that I haven't put these up on Fridays for Saturday battles, but you know, BBR gotta BBR sometimes. Anyways guys, I hope you've all enjoyed, and I shall catch you for the battle. Peace!